Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Dovston, and it is wonderful that you are here with me for our June monthly I Ching overview. June is here, so let's have a look at what June is asking us to pay attention to, how we can wrestle through our life and our challenges to maximize our growth this month. Last month, we had Hexagram 63 locked. Okay, that is Hexagram 63 after completion. The finishing of the finishing, the completion of things, the wrapping up of our processes, the endings, the closings off that we were making. And I encourage you to look within your life, within your business, within your personal life, the things that were open and unresolved, incomplete, or that you were finishing. And I encourage you to work with this energy of the I Ching, to stay the course, to finish what you started, not change strategy or, in the last third of the river, suddenly decide you're going to go a different direction. No. To persevere in going through with your plans, finishing what you are already finishing. And how did that work for you? How did the energy of completion unlock energy for you last month? Okay, so May was action-packed. It was locked, but it was doubling us down on completion. If there was something that you completed or that you became aware you were finishing on, please do share a comment. I love hearing your comments. So, not a locked hexagram for June. In fact, quite the opposite. There are 4 changing lines, which means when we get into the changing lines section, every 6 days, there's a new tick over of new things to pay attention to. So action-packed in a very different way. Now, before we get into the changing lines, let's get into what is the first flow of energy that the I Ching is asking us to pay attention to. Where do we need to put our focus, for us to maximize our energy? And with all these things, remember, this is my interpretation, this is my flavor, my way of explaining my way through these hexagrams to you. Try and bring you as many different types of symbols that you can wrestle with it yourself, and always trust your life. Okay, what is the process you are going through? Doesn't mean it's tuning 100% to the collective that we're all going through. Perhaps your attention is needed elsewhere. However, there's a good chance that we're all going through the theme of this month, which is hexagram 46, pushing upward, or ascending the mountain. This is a wonderful hexagram. I think this is fantastic, and I'm so looking forward to getting my teeth stuck into working with this hexagram and these changing lines in June. If we look at the structure, we come back to this idea that the top is earth, the bottom is wind or wood. In this case, the idea of wood, a little plant growing up through the layers of the earth, reaching for the sun. This hexagram symbolizes a project, a goal, something that we are striving towards, working through. Perhaps this is a business project or a personal goal you're working towards. Are you writing exams? What are you striving towards? What is the goal? Where in June, the I Ching is asking us to put energy and sweat into it. And like the little plant, we get a lot of things that we can learn about in nature. Like this little plant, this little shoot, that is growing. It is still growing, but it is absolutely obsessed about reaching for the light. Reaching for the light symbolically means reaching for that goal, reaching for that illumination, reaching for an awareness, a higher level of consciousness, or just being able to tick things off your to-do list. What does it mean for you? What is this growth path that June is bringing to our attention? And like the plant, sometimes there's little stones and obstacles, little piece of bark, other things we didn't expect as we are growing up through that soil. And our task is to find a way around it. Wind and wood is an element of the 8 trigrams. One of the 8 teaches us how to be adaptable, persevering, go around the obstacle, go around the stone. And there's a sense here that the plant has this innate understanding of how to do that, right? We understand how to move around the obstacles. This is not an obstacle that we face in other hexagrams where it's stop, stagnation, obstruction, opposition. It's not that kind of thing. It's the little things that come along in the path that go around, find a way around it, but keep seeking the light. Seek the light, seek the light, seek the light. So we persevere, we work, this is a month with this hexagram, okay, we are being asked to put in the effort, to sweat, to labor, to invest our love and care, to show up and do the hard work. Why? Because it's going to bear fruit. It's going to give us something in return. This month, if we show up in our lives and we do the work and we sweat, okay, what happens is we make wonderful, massive progress. And I think that sounds like a brilliant thing, don't you? So we're going to work, we're going to sweat in the sun, we're going to put in the effort, but there's a joyousness to the hard labor. This is not an energy where it feels, heavy and oppressive. We're going to work, okay? We're going to put in the effort, but the rewards are worth it. And we're going to whistle while we work and have a cheerful attitude, go around the obstacles, and we're going to do what is needing to be done. We're going to grow in June. So for you, this might literally mean something physical or tangible, growing and working towards a promotion or completion of a project or the delivery of a big client project. Okay, there might be something really tangible and practical that is tied to this. This might be your spiritual growth, okay, reaching for the light. Might be a symbol of having some kind of illumination, having some kind of achievement and awareness, of growing spiritually, okay, of making good progress. Perhaps you've been meditating, and you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. Keep meditating, because it's going to bring you the fruits, okay? We're going to start to see the results of our labors. This is what this hexagram is asking us to pay attention to. So we're going to work together, right? We're going to put in the effort. We're going to grow, grow, grow. The beautiful plants just know what to do. They continue to persevere despite the obstacles. Despite little stones that come in the path, we reach for the light. Now there are, as I mentioned, 4 changing lines. That breaks up our month time frame into little parcels, okay? So every 6 days, there is a change in energy. Now, I use these timing guidelines as that, guidelines, okay? You may find your month moves through quite a structure. You go click, 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 click as we move up the changing lines from the bottom ones right up to the top. You might find all the changing lines, land with you, or just one really stands out as being something that's critical. I would just say have an open mind. Just be open to what emerges out of that quantum soup, as I always talk about, and just see what's reflected back. See which of these changing lines come to bring you some insight, some guidance, and some inspiration. So let's get into the changing lines. And the lines are on 2, 3, 5, and 6. Okay, which means that our time frame, 6th of June, 12th of June, 18th of June, 24th of June, okay, as a guideline. Changing line, the second position. This changing line talks about making our simple offerings. Okay, we might have a little to give, or we feel that we've only got a little contribution to make, or we kind of feel like a little bit of fish out of water. We feel like a little bit a rough around the edges, a diamond in the rough, trying to bring our contribution to bear. And this changing line says, don't let that faze you, how you feel about whether you fit in or not, or the value of what you think that you're contributing. Make your offering. Bring your sacrifice, okay? Sacrifice doesn't mean, bloodletting. Sacrifice means make the effort and commit of your time. Sacrifice the time, your energy, and your care for the thing that's important to you. Show up. So if you feel like, I've only got a little contribution to make, I feel a little bit rough, don't worry about what it is. Even if your offering is simple, your contribution is simple, there's energy that comes in bringing yourself to the work of June, of bringing your simple offering, even if that's what it is, to the table, okay? Come open, come humble, put it on the table, put in the work, commit, and make the sacrifice of your time. You will see the rewards. Now, in line 3, this line talks about moving through the empty city. So if you read the book, you'll see moving through the empty city, and that represents the old city that's been evacuated and emptied out, the old past. And you move through this, and it's almost as if no one is stopping you. You can almost imagine the city that you arrive in, right? And it's just like there's not a soul. Okay, there's no one to stop you and ask for your passport, why are you there, or whatever it is, or to bar your way. There is absolutely no obstruction. The old city is empty. And so we can leave and we can move on and we can pass through this and we can move into the next phase of our lives unobstructed. So in the second little batch of time from the 6th to the 12th of June roundabout, you might find that things that you're wanting to do just flow, okay? The gates of the city are open. There's no obstruction. The growth just happens. There aren't any stones, okay, in the way. The city is open. So put everything in, because this is a period of time where we take advantage of this energy. We don't dilly-daddle. We get on with it, and we move through, and we move on past the gates of this old city, and we keep moving. So there's something around this where we perhaps might have had obstacles before. Our path to growth is opened, and we can just do it. Isn't that amazing? And then in the 5th line, around about the 18th of June, this changing line says there's a lot of success. There's a feeling of the progress we're making because we're now getting towards the top, right? The 5th line is often a very strong manifestation line. And so you might experience where you suddenly see, oh, we made all this progress. Oh, we've achieved something. Oh, this is amazing. We're getting somewhere. And we can start to get giddy with the success, right? Or intoxicated with, oh, it's working. Okay, what we have to do is we have to mitigate that risk, because that makes us stop, okay? That takes us out of being immediate and in the present and focused on what we're needing to do, the growing that's still to be done. What we do is we double down on putting our one foot in front of the other, of making progress, of doing the work, of showing up, of completing this progress that we have started. We don't let the success put us into a state of giddiness, okay, all right? Success paralysis, okay? We keep on doing the work. So perhaps this isn't the week where we're going to have a big party because we've achieved something. You can do that later. There's still more to be done, and we have to make sure we don't lose our focus, because there's still stuff as we're going through the weeks of June that we need to do. And in the 6th position, right at the top, our culmination line, sometimes a tricky line, this line says there is the risk that as we reach this top line, that blind impulse takes over. We start acting rashly and we just start doing things, okay, for the sake of doing things. And there actually is a need to be cautious and reserved and behave as if every step is a little tricky, okay? And there's a process here of just pulling back, okay, on this urge to race ahead and be wild, okay? So as we go from the 18th of June up to the 24th, that last little kind of flow of change as we work through the latter half of June, there's a caution. Behave as if every step has difficulty and challenge, even if it doesn't seem to have, right? We resist the temptation to blindly race ahead, and we stay focused and persevering and putting one foot in front of the other. This is the whole energy of our month, is the perseverance and putting one foot in front of the other. And in particular, as we get to the 3rd week, okay, this is where we just have to be cautious, because we could run away, all right, with ourselves, and therefore unravel some of the progress that the month has brought to us. Okay, and then as we work through the month, we also have our outcome or second hexagram, which sits in parallel. It flows throughout the whole month, okay? We imagine that as we start June, we have 46 pushing upwards, right? Full throttle, okay? And then as we're going through the month, this second hexagram evolves and strengthens until we reach the end of the month, and the second hexagram reaches its zenith, okay? Its full power. You might experience that, especially given all the changing lines we've had for this month, is that it kind of, as you get to that last week of the month, after that last changing line, eases off, you start to see this hexagram really kind of strengthen right in the tail end in the last week of June. And it is hexagram 20, Contemplation, or the tower. Okay, see the structure? It looks like the Arc de Triomphe. We have the pillars of the tower, then the cap at the top, and that gives us a clue that our focus, how we work with this hexagram, is to get an elevated perspective. The tower as a symbol gives us a view, just like a tree on a tall hill has a view across the whole valley and can be seen by others. Okay, this is now the catch with this hexagram, that others look up to us too and look up to our behavior of how to work with this energy. So as we round out the end of June, we are going to be tasked or asked or encouraged to elevate our perspective. This is a great strategy hexagram if you're planning to do some strategic thinking. It's an energy that lifts us up, all right, out of low-level thinking, detail, operational stuff, and takes us up to the top of the tower, and we can see things in perspective. Now, there's a number of different ways that this value can manifest for you. For example, it can be that you're so stuck in the detail, down at the bottom, okay, scurrying through the bush like a little mouse, that you actually can't see how much progress you're making. Remember, this first hexagram, progress, all right? Pushing upwards. Perhaps we can't see how much we have done because we're in the detail. And so just taking time out to elevate perspective and get to the top of the tower, we can see perspective and we can say, oh my goodness, I didn't believe that actually this was all coming together. All the pieces of the puzzle have always been coming together, all right? And we can get that perspective because we climb the top of the tower. Perhaps the perspective is that actually there's something we're missing. Okay, so by being on the ground, we are too myopic, too close to the detail, too grounded, that we cannot see the wood from the trees, right? We cannot see what we're missing. And we make the dangerous assumption that we actually can see the bigger picture when we're actually scurrying as the mouse down at the bottom. We need to be the eagle. This is the complete opposite to hexagram 62. We are being asked to be the bird flying right down on the ground. Don't fly up, fly down, okay? This is the complete opposite. Get perspective. Take time out and look at the situation from a bigger point of view. If you face some challenges in June, I would really encourage you to ask yourself the question, is this an issue of growth? Is this a growth issue, a growing pain, okay, that we've had from the first hexagram? And is this an issue of perspective, that I've made some assumptions that I can see the whole picture when I can't, or I'm not quite grasping how all the bits fit together on a bigger level? Get strategic, get big picture thinking, lift your vision up, look down, and see things in an elevated, higher perspective. That is June. Lots of work, lots of change, lots for us to do, lots of growing, lots of work, sweating in the sun to do the work, but getting the rewards and the perspective that comes out of doing so. I look forward to this month. And thank you for being here with me as we work through it together. So if this was meaningful to you, as always, please like and share if someone else could get value out of it. And of course, if you're new to the channel or the podcast, subscribe or follow, and I'll see you on the socials. And I'll see you for our next weekly overview very, very soon.